Hello, welcome to Tarot with Tanya. This is 7 cards for 7 days, and we are looking at the week of Monday, November 4th to Sunday, November 10th. And I'll be using the Golden Tarot deck today, and then we'll end with a Tree Keeper's Oracle card, as has been my practice for the last, half year or so. I'm in love with those cards. And we'll talk a little bit about the astrology first, and do the reading, and then finish with the Oracle card. Of course, it is election week in the United States, and that is our Tuesday. And wow, the cards are pretty powerful this week. I'm not going to lie. I think last week we had 1 major. This week we have 4. So, some pretty strong ones. We'll talk about that in a minute. As always, with these readings for the general collective, take what resonates for you and leave the rest behind. Working on developing your intuition that way. So, there might be a personal element to this for you. And then again, I'm going to focus a little bit more on the national this week, given, at least in my opinion, the stakes this time. So our week does begin with the moon in Sagittarius, and by next Sunday what will be the moon in Pisces. The actual election here will be moon in Capricorn. That makes people pretty, serious, pretty responsible, focusing on duties, things like that. Now Sagittarius, I feel, is starting us off with a lot of enthusiasm. It's a fire sign, it's higher learning, it's philosophy, it's education, it's the law. So we're beginning with that energy, moving into that, more serious, heavier earth sign of Capricorn with the moons. And then we're going to go into moon in Aquarius. That's the one that's power for the people. And, we're also, Pluto is now going forward, is direct. So that is moving very soon also back into Aquarius, and will be there for at least 20 years. So it is a movement in that direction for more power to the people, moving away from plutocracy, moving away from the concentration of wealth in a few hands, moving away to the more authoritarian, centralized, concepts of power, and into a more egalitarian perspective, trying to make sure that everybody has what they need, not just a few having more than they could possibly ever use. All right, so that's our moon. And then we just have a couple of aspects that I want to mention. And on Monday, the day before the election, the 4th, we do have the sun trining Saturn. So this is a good energy for honoring our responsibilities, our duties, our obligations. It can help us be very grounded and to have really realistic goals that we can move forward. To me, that seems like a good thing. We've got the sun in Scorpio right now, so that's a lot of depth, and it shines the light in dark places as well. So I think that will be good, pre-election also, or not just pre-election, but during this time of the election. And then we skip to Saturday, and there we have on the 9th Venus squaring Neptune. Now that will make us potentially vulnerable to intrigues, deceits, lies. You can see where this might be coming up, right? It could be an energy of being unrealistic about our love lives, our expectations in our love lives, our projections, our disappointments. Money matters, because Venus is connected to that too. Could be vague, because that's what Neptune does. It dissolves things. It makes us vague and dreamy. So it's, it's just kind of a good time to rest, dream, meditate, focus on beauty and harmony, be creative. And I do feel, after probably what's going to be a fairly tumultuous week, that's good advice and good supportive energy for that kind of work, that meditative, creative, dreaming work. All right, so what do we have with our cards? We begin with strength. This is our Monday. And I do feel we are in a time where there is a dark side of our country. I can't speak for other places in the world, but I suspect similar things are going on just because it's supported by the astrology, by the metaphysics, by lots of predictions from people who've studied these things for, sometimes thousands of years. Not that they've been studying, but, things going back that far and people adding knowledge all the time. So with strength, we can have that courage to face that collective shadow. What is the dark side of us? What have we created that we've been in denial about? And when we integrate that, we are stronger. That's where that strength comes from. So here, of course, you see this woman, and she's got that special, I think it's called a limnoscate, over her head, a kind of infinity sign. This is an ongoing process. This is a process of balancing. A lot of times you'll see a Libra, scale connected with this card. So the lion, the fearsome beast, is on her lap, and she's obviously tamed it. And that, again, is symbolizing that we have made friends, somehow at least integrated our shadow projections, that dark side of us that we don't want to see. So, we're going into this week kind of fired up with that moon and the depth of Scorpio, the water added to it, and then the strength. I feel like it's a good thing. I feel like we can look at our shadow and, like the horse, the knight on the horse here, we can move it forward in a positive way. Tuesday, day of the election, we've got Ace of Wands. That is powerful, fiery energy. And just as an aside, Harris is a Sagittarius, so she is a fire sign. And I just feel like this angel here, or that's how I see it, has come to visit and give us a new energy to move forward again. That aces are beginnings, aces are gifts, and we need to move forward. I think most people know, feel that, and I believe it's true. It's just part of the evolution of being a human. So that's election day. Well, next day gets interesting. We get the Tower. So this is a 16, which makes it a 7. And that makes it connected to the Chariot card, which is 7. So there again is the move it forward energy. I think there are going to be a lot of surprised people in general. Whatever, in this case, camp you might be in, I do think there are going to be some big surprises. I think all for the positive and getting us forward. And, this could be also kind of when the crap starts, like contesting it, making false claims, which, the groundwork is being laid by that, for that, let's just face it, by Trump and company, that I think they know they're in trouble, and they try to always cast doubt so that they have some kind of legal room later to manipulate. So that's our Wednesday, the Tower. But I think it's going to be a good thing. I think it's going to be a cleansing thing. I think it's going to be an opening up that helps us to move forward, let go of that past. We stay with the major theme, so, this is our Thursday, and we get the new magic. So we had the Ace of Wands, then the Tower in between the Wand, and the Magician. So the Magician is in control, or at least in touch, let's say, with all the elements, knows how to use the fire, knows how to use the water, knows how to use the earth, knows how to use water, I think is the one I left out. So how do we make new combinations with those basic elements? How do we have a new vision? How do we see things going forward? And I think also, you know, I talk at the beginning about using your own intuition, don't take what doesn't resonate for you. And I feel like this is part of that, in the sense of know when magic is real and know when it's manipulation. That's our Thursday. Friday, wow, the devil. And this to me rarely comes up in our weekly readings, our 7 cards. Here it is. This is Friday. This is a great opportunity to have a sense of humor. Essentially, on these cards, you will see a female figure and a male figure, usually in some kind of bondage. Here, almost more like a despair. You see this really creepy sort of creature with the 3 toed foot, standing on someone's back, essentially showing domination and control, and that very odd, well, let's just face it, old white man in the belly of our devil here. So that looks like some shenanigans to me, but like I said, it gives us a great opportunity to laugh. To know that this is what sometimes happens to people in desperation. And again, if it happens to us, where can we find that sense of humor? And no, this too shall pass. And it's number 6. I forgot to mention that. That's why the lovers are on there, that male and female figure. Because it does affect all of humanity. Of course, you know, if you're exposed to Christianity, it goes back to the Garden of Eden, you know, the Eve and Adam figures, the serpent, the devil, and so forth, connecting to that. And where do we put our power? Where do, you know, do we maintain it for ourselves, or are we handing away our power? I think that's another aspect of the devil card. Well, we're back on that fire theme by Saturday, and here it is with the Knight of Wands. So remember earlier we had the Ace of Wands. So this Knight has a lot of energy, a lot of ability to move us forward in some ways, to carry that torch and celebrate. I think this can be some celebration. So hopefully we have a really solid sense of feeling like we've done this. We can, you know, we can accept the good and to keep moving forward in this passionate way, which this card represents. We end with Wands, and this is our Sunday. 5 of Wands, and in here you can see there's a cock crowing on that upper left-hand corner, and the sun opposite of that. Of course, the cock crowing for the sun coming up. And then we have these figures, and what are they doing? That's always an interesting question when it comes to the 5 of Wands, and I tend to see it as a fair fight. What are you standing up for? What do you believe? And 5 is the number of the Hierophant, so this is one of those cards connected to it. And again, it's standing up for your beliefs, not being afraid to say what they are, not being afraid to say what you care about, who you care about, things like that. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. I think that's the main thing I can say about this week. But I think the fire is positive because I think it's very cleansing. I think the majors, again, there are 4 of them, are giving us a certain amount of stability and really encouraging us to stay positive and to know that we are moving forward. I think that's a message that resonates powerfully. So we will end with an oracle card, as I said, from the Tree Keeper's Oracle, and I love what we got today, which is surrender. So it's the number 11. In some decks, 11 is also strength, so I feel like there's a bit of an echo there. So Keeper of Surrender, during autumn, of course where we are, in the northern hemisphere anyway, during autumn, trees show us how beautiful it is to let go. The cessation of chlorophyll causes the trees to burst into true color as they release their leaves. Surrender isn't defeat. It's the sacred pause that allows us to use all our senses to receive a new vision, cease all striving, stop the endless cycles of productivity, abolish your white-knuckle resiliency. I love that. Abolish your white knuckle resiliency. Lay your spine along the earth's solid ground and feel support waiting for you there. Align your spine along the length of your favorite tree and feel the solidity of bark, the warmth of sap, and the hum of tree song. There are times when effort only creates futility and extends suffering. This is one of them. Something new wants to communicate with you and is awaiting your presence in this moment. And I think part of it is surrendering the fear, surrendering the anxiety. It's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. We're going to move forward. Things will get better. And I think we all have been on quite the journey the last 10 years. And hopefully, just again, with that Pluto moving from the sign of the plutocrats, Capricorn, into the sign of the people, Aquarius, is going to really tone it down in that way and help us to help each other and make a more just world. So, beloveds, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. That definitely helps the channel. And if you would like a personal reading, if you're curious about what that means, I mean, I can tell you the first time I got one, I felt like it jumped me 10 years ahead. It can be very, very helpful. Anyway, have a great 7 days, and I will see you again soon. Bye.